Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So after a couple years of record high sales, is Fender now starting to run into trouble? A class action lawsuit has been filed against them, claiming that they overcharged millions of guitarists over the course of several years. And just recently, Fender has laid off hundreds of employees from its Corona, California location. What is going on here? Now, we're going to go over all the details of this stuff, but real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new guitars, and also staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this stuff. And I want to start off the video by saying, in general, I like Fender. I think they make good guitars. And of all of the huge, big top-tier guitar makers, I think Fender is really one of the better ones. And behind me, that yellow guitar there, hanging up on the wall, that is my beloved Fender HM Strat. Okay, so I'm not saying Fender is all bad, but some of the stuff, some of the allegations that are out in the news now, it's really quite shocking. So I want to take a close look at this stuff. So first, let's talk about this recent wave of layoffs from Fender's California, one of their California locations. And I want to take a look at this article that we've got up here, that I've got up here. And this is from HRD, Human Resources Director, California. Now this is a website that specializes in like hiring news and job development and that kind of stuff. And in particular, this article is talking about some problems that California is having, and it's really zeroing in on this Fender issue. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. And as usual, guys, I'm going to have a link to the original article down in the video description below if you want to check that out. But let's go ahead and look at this. So HRD, HCAMag.com, HRD, Fender lays off hundreds of employees. Yet another California company cuts jobs ahead of anticipated recession. We scroll down here. Fender, the Los Angeles-based guitar manufacturer, has joined the growing list of American employers reducing headcount ahead of an anticipated recession. Roughly 300 employees, ranging from senior management to production line workers, have been laid off, Guitar.com reported. The YouTube channel, Dylan Talks Tone, I want to give a big shout out to that channel, I'll put a link in the video description below, broke the news, claiming a source stated that the workers making up the, quote, entire afternoon shift at Fender's factory in Corona, California, were let go. According to his LinkedIn page, Brian Swerdfeger, former vice president of research and design at the company, stopped working at Fender in July. Several other former employees have posted on LinkedIn about their terminations. Let's take a look at a couple of these. Danny May, last week I was laid off from my dream job, along with many others. Landing a position at Fender Music Instruments Corporation over 3 years ago was a big accomplishment for me, both professionally and personally. I'm thankful for all of the amazing people that I got to meet and work with during my time at the company. It's been an honor. Here's another person that was laid off here. It's with a heavy heart that I said goodbye to my Fender family today. It was truly my dream job, and I had the most amazing, supportive, and fun team anyone could ask for. I'm so proud of what we accomplished in the last year. That being said, I'm in the market for a new opportunity. If you or someone you know is looking for a technical recruiting extraordinaire, I'm your girl. That's from Christina Pettinato. Now, posts like that, of course, reek of that sort of corporate team spirit attitude, which so many of us absolutely hate, myself included. And, I count myself very lucky that I don't have to work at a job like that. Instead, I can make videos about guitars on YouTube. But nonetheless, this is very sad for these people, that have had to go through these layoffs. I have been laid off. I was laid off from my job at the 76 gas station in Woodinville, Washington, back in 2004. And it was a sad day. I really enjoyed filling propane tanks. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. Let's go ahead and look a little further down this article here. It goes on, major brands throughout California, especially in Silicon Valley, have trimmed their workforces ahead of an economic downturn. More than 450 startups and tech firms have laid off more than 75,000 people in 2022, according to professional social network Blind's Tech Layoffs Tracker. In just the past month alone, more than 20,000 jobs were cut. Additionally, tech giants Apple and Google have prepared to slow down hiring efforts into 2023. Okay, now the article goes on to talk more about other companies in California which have done similar layoffs. And the big question here is this simply because of like they're talking about, the anticipated recession or an anticipated economic downturn? Is that because of that, or is it because, guitars have gotten really, really popular over the past few years, and maybe that popularity has peaked and it is starting to come down, and simply not that many people are going to be buying guitars like they were a couple years ago? That's the big question to me. But regardless of the answer to that question, this is not the only problem that Fender is dealing with right now. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but the other thing I want to get to next is this class action lawsuit, which has been filed against Fender, claiming that they deliberately overcharged guitarists over several years, totaling millions, not millions of dollars, but millions of guitarists, millions of guitar players over the course of several years. And this is a little bit complicated here, so you'll have to bear with me on this, because this lawsuit is related to a previous lawsuit which Fender lost a couple years ago, and they had to pay some really heavy fines. It had to do with price fixing and that kind of stuff. We'll talk a little bit about that. But anyway, we'll go through all the details here, but this is really, really pretty fascinating stuff. Okay, so this is the second article here that I need to show you guys. This is over on guitar.com. Again, I'll have the link to the original article down in the video description below. Let's look at this. Look at this headline. Fender hit by class action lawsuit alleging it overcharged millions of guitarists. Guitarists could be entitled to damages. Imagine that. You bought a guitar a couple years ago and maybe you're going to end up getting a check in the mail. Okay, let's read this here. Fender has been accused of overcharging millions of guitar players for instruments in a new class action lawsuit being brought by a United Kingdom consumer advocacy group. The claim comes as a result of a 2020 ruling by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, which fined Fender £4.5 million for price fixing, or, quote, preventing online discounting for its guitars. The CMA's ruling stated that Fender's behavior meant that prospective buyers saw no difference in price as they shopped around for guitars. So basically they're saying that Fender was forcing everybody to sell guitars at the price that Fender was setting and not be able to discount the price, not be able to have it on sale with their own sales or anything like that, the retail outlets and that kind of thing. That's what they're alleging here. So the article goes on. At the time, Andrea Coselli, CMA chief executive, said that, quote, it is absolutely essential that companies do not prevent people from being able to shop around to buy their products at the best possible price. This is especially important for expensive and popular items like guitars. And so Fender's actions could have a big impact on customers, end quote. Then it says here, the class action suit is rooted in the 2020 ruling, arguing that it means, quote, potentially millions of musicians who bought guitars between January 2013 and April 2019 paid over the odds. If the suit is successful, those who were found to have paid over the odds could be entitled to damages. Fender has told the Times that it will not comment on an ongoing legal matter, and can't blame them for that. Who knows what's going on between the lawyers and that kind of stuff. But, of course, we can speculate about it on the internet. So, taken all together here, what the lawsuit is alleging, you have to sort of combine both of these lawsuits. The one that was wrapped up back in 2020 and now this new one. They're basically saying that Fender was forcing retail outlets to sell the guitars at particular prices, and Fender was not letting them discount the prices. Basically, they could not put the guitar on sale. So a retail place, they couldn't run a sale and be like, hey, we're selling this Fender Strat or whatever for this much, and this is a more competitive price than other places. They were alleging that Fender was preventing the retail places from doing that, and Fender lost that lawsuit back in 2020. So it was determined in that lawsuit that Fender did do that. So now this new lawsuit is saying, well, hey, if Fender was forcing these companies, these other retail companies, to sell it at higher prices, that means that the customers had to pay a higher price than they otherwise would have. And that's what this lawsuit is all about. Now look, guys, with big companies like this, there's always things like this going on, little lawsuits and disagreements and that kind of stuff. And the trouble that Fender is having is nowhere near the trouble that, say, Dean Guitars is having right now, which I have talked about at length, and I will probably continue to talk about. So I don't want to make a bigger deal of this than it really is, but there are really two big separate issues here coming together to create a lot of overall trouble for Fender. One is the layoffs, and the reason they're claiming for the layoffs is kind of troubling, in that they're expecting the demand to go down for guitars, or they're expecting fewer people to be buying guitars in the future. So they want to reduce their expenses. They want to lighten the workforce, right? So that alone is very troubling. Maybe Fender knows something that we don't about the market that's coming down the road. And then, of course, the second issue is this lawsuit. I mean, can you imagine if Fender has to cut checks to 1 million different guitar players? It's not going to be for like $1 or something. I mean, it could be a significant amount of money, and that, altogether, I mean, they already got fined, what was it, like 4.5 million pounds, which is more than dollars. Okay, that's a lot of money, and imagine if they have to pay now even more if they lose this class action lawsuit. That's going to be a big hit. And again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, for me, the big overall question here is this a sign that the guitar market has peaked and is now coming down the other side of the hill? What do you guys think about all of this? As usual, I would love to read your comments down below. I will have links for everything I was talking about in the video down in the video description below, the links for the articles, and also some of my previous videos about Dean Guitars and previous Fender videos. All that stuff will be down there. Guys, thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you soon.